Breaking tonight, a new arrest in the Orlando terror attack may come at any time now, as we get reports from Reuters News Service that Omar Mateen's wife could face serious charges as soon as tomorrow morning. Welcome to the Kelly File, live from Orlando, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. FoxNews.com is now reporting that federal prosecutors have convened a grand jury against Mateen's wife, Noor Salman, and are seeking to charge her as an accessory to 49 counts of murder and 53 counts of attempted murder. Salman made her first public appearance today, retrieving some belongings from the apartment she and Mateen shared along with their 3-year-old son. She had the son with her in the company of police today. That happened as we learned that Ms. Salman not only knew about her husband's plans, but that she drove him to this very Pulse nightclub in an effort to case the scene, though not on the night of the attack necessarily. We only had that happening prior. When reporters caught up with Salman today, who was sitting in the car next to her young son with her hood pulled over her face, we heard some of the questions that Ms. Salman could soon be forced to answer before a grand jury.
Ms. Mateen? Ms. Mateen, can we just talk to you for a second? Ms. Mateen, just for a moment.
Let's go to the door.
Ms. Salman, did you know your husband was going to do this? Ms. Salman, did you know your husband is a terrorist?
The grand jury story broke in just the last couple of hours, and in moments, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer and Brad Thor will be here to weigh in on what else we are learning about the wife of the gunman tonight. Before Mark Eiglarsh tells us exactly what kind of legal trouble she could be in and what to expect from this grand jury. But first, Trace Gallagher is at the breaking news desk for us tonight with all the new details coming out. Trace?
And Megyn, now a federal law enforcement source has confirmed to Fox News senior correspondent Rick Leventhal that the shooter's wife, Noor Salman, did have advanced knowledge of the attack and did nothing to stop him. The wife reportedly told investigators she tried to stop him, but there is no record of her calling authorities. During an interview with the FBI, as you look at new pictures from the Daily Mail, the wife also gave details of his gun purchases and how he apparently told her about his plan to carry out an attack. And specifically, it appears the feds believe that she knew the Pulse nightclub was a potential target because on at least one occasion she drove there with her husband to case the place. Keep in mind, the club is 2 hours from where they live. She did not drive him the night of the shooting. In fact, sources say the wife told authorities that before he left with his weapons on the night of the attack, he told her goodbye and that he loved her. Investigators say Noor Salman is cooperating and has shared information about her husband's violent aspirations. But her involvement gets even deeper. Numerous reports now say she was with her husband 2 days before the shooting when he bought ammunition and a holster. The wife has also informed the FBI that her husband had become radicalized in the last year. Last night, we showed you pictures inside the killer's home. Now we have video shot by Univision. First, the bedroom of the 3-year-old son filled with animated characters, books, and a poster that says, quote, "Be someone you would be proud to know." Elsewhere in the home is a copy of the Quran, books on Islam, and family photos. The wife is not staying at the home, but she is free. She is free for now. Megyn.
Trace, thank you. Joining me now, retired Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer, who's a CIA-trained intelligence operative, now with the London Center for Policy Research, and Brad Thor, who is a former member of the Homeland Security's Analytic Red Cell Unit and author of the new novel, Foreign Agent, released just this month. Thank you both so much for being here.
Sure.
Colonel Shaffer, let me start with you. The reports now on this wife that she knew what he intended to do, that she was there when he purchased the guns, when he purchased the ammo, and that she even drove him to case the Pulse nightclub at some point prior to the night that this all happened. So what does it tell you about him and her?
Well, two things. First, we've recognized that Orlando and the community there is an enclave of Muslim radicalism. This is something we've identified. Most importantly, Megyn, she has a duty to report. She is a U.S. person. Either she's here by green card or a citizen, she is required to report. So what we see here across the board is a cascade of failure. policy failure and individual failure. There is absolutely no excuse for her not reporting the fact that her husband was about to engage. The other thing I understand, that she was beaten by him. A report of that to law enforcement
that was the
would have
first
prevented
wife.
him.
I'm sorry. Just to clarify, that was a report of the first wife, who is now the ex-wife. And I also want to ask you about what you mean when you say she has a duty to report, a legal duty, a duty in combating terrorism. Where does that duty emerge from? Because normally, just not speaking up about something you know is about to happen, even if it's a crime, is not actually illegal.
No, I was talking to a federal officer about this yesterday. If a citizen sees what is essentially a catastrophic felony about to occur, you can be held accountable. And I think that's why you see, Megyn, this grand jury now being formed. She is going to be charged, I predict, as an accessory either before or after the fact relating to this, probably before the fact, by the fact she actually helped him case it. So that's what I was told by a federal officer. She had a duty to report it.
So we'll get into that. We're going to get into the legalities with Eiglarsh in a minute. But I want to ask you, Brad, because it is not unusual to see the wives of these radical jihadists also either become radicalized or go right along with it. We've seen it repeatedly. Even the Tamerlan Tsarnaev in the Boston bombing, he had an American wife, Catherine Russell, who had been Googling benefits to the wife after one martyrs himself and so on.
Right, and she was Muslim as well, the wife of the Tsarnaev.
She had converted.
You know, and Tony, she had converted. And Tony's right here about being an accessory. I mean, she was part of the pre-attack surveillance, which is a big deal. Now, with the Tsarnaevs, you saw the defense of the surviving Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, his defense being that the brother made him do it, all this kind of stuff. Tony's correct, and you were correct. It's the ex-wife that claimed that Omar beat her all the time. This wife may claim domestic violence in this instance, or she may be such an adherent to Islam that she respects one of the greatest commandments in the Hadith, which is, you may not tell your husband secrets because you will be judged the harshest by Allah on Judgment Day. There may be that is a very big proclamation or commandment in Islam. But it does not absolve her, Megyn. Doesn't absolve her. This is horrible.
Oh, no. I mean, it's certainly taking acts toward the ultimate event. That's a different story. The thing that I want to talk to Eiglarsh about is if you just know it and you don't do anything, normally that's not a crime. If it's terror, there may be a difference. I'm going to talk to him about it.
Well, she participated. Megyn, she participated.
Yeah, I know. We're going to get into that. But I want to ask you this because they say in at least 50%, someplace that as high as 70% of these cases, the killer, like Mateen, does talk about it prior to actually doing it. And they say in at least 3/4 of the cases, he doesn't act alone. In fact, it would be the exception, not the rule, Tony, for him to have acted by himself.
Right. Well, this was a well-planned event. He thought this through. This was very meticulous. He cased it. I don't know what the circumstances of him casing it. He was there multiple times. He picked the right weapons. He knew the ingress, egress. He planned this in great detail. And as Brad was talking about, this woman probably felt some loyalty to him to go through with it. And maybe she was more radicalized than people recognized. And if she was that radicalized, she would do anything she was told to do. So this is very severe. And again, Megyn, the fact that this community is... I'm sorry, go ahead.
What were you saying? Megyn, and the other thing is that we're seeing an operator that apparently was able to pick his own target, okay, and plan the operation because he went to Disney. And Beslan in the siege in Beslan is the gold standard for these guys. We are incredibly lucky that this did not happen at Disney because the body count could have been much higher. But I would be shocked if there are not other people that he was in communication with because this level of sophistication of all of the pre-attack surveillance, it's just like San Bernardino. The way those guys were kitted out, the way they handled it, I think there is much more going on here than we are finding out through the news right now.
Right. I believe there's overseas links, and I believe he's looking at
We believe at this hour that she's from California, that her parents are from Pakistan. It's also been reported Afghanistan. But we're told, reportedly was living in Jordan up until 2006 when she came here. All of this will be fleshed out in the coming days. Gentlemen, thank you. Also with us tonight on the Breaking News.